10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Mars4 Development AMA and Dev Update. We have a lot of awesome stuff to show you, working on over the past couple months, and I'm joined here by Spiros, our art director.
Hello,
And
again.
Not fired
It's been
yet.
a while. It's been a while, yeah.
It has
Still
been
here.
a while. It has been. Yeah, there has been a lot of stuff going on recently, a lot of cool stuff to show. And yeah, let's get to it. So we also have a series of questions you guys have left on our servers. We're very appreciative of that. And I'll be running through those after we go through a bit of a development update and what we've been working on. So in the next patch that you guys are going to see, it will be live on Epic Games. So the next update will be the one that goes live on Epic. That's part of the reason why you guys haven't seen a patch pushed to the patcher in a little while, because as the next patch is going on Epic, we've integrated a lot of the Epic Live services and stuff like that, which means it doesn't work off of Epic and on our patcher. So that is actually an answer to many people who ask, like, when is the game going live on Epic? And so to run through some of the first new stuff that you'll notice in the game is we have, I actually don't remember exactly what is in the current live build. Like, we've made so many changes. So I think this is also probably a new colonist uniform you're seeing, which is...
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So there is a huge overhaul of the entire crafting system. But I'll get into that a bit later. So the first thing is a new tutorial. We've introduced quite a fleshed out tutorial with a voice acted AI that leads the player through crafting and discovering resources and fighting with robots, and some of the new features coming in the next build, which is capturing of robots. Let's see, do we have actually any? We have some videos of capturing in here. Yeah, here. So also added in capturing of robots, repairing robots, and assigning robots to workstations. So as you guys know, or as some of you may know who have been following dev blogs and stuff like that, we have discussed how robots are to become a core part of crafting. So you're able to craft without specific robots, but assigning the correct robot to a crafting bench will unlock additional recipes and reduce the crafting cost of many elements within that workbench. So I think I can actually jump right to that. So here's some of the new crafting benches. This is the new guardian machine crafting bench. Name is placeholder, will be renamed before launch, obviously. But by capturing the correct robot, repairing it, and assigning it to work on the machine, it will unlock additional recipes. That's also where the uniform that you saw came from, which is we've added in a uniform crafting workbench, which allows players to craft different uniforms within the game in addition to the NFT uniforms. Obviously, the NFT uniforms are better and more specialized in different areas, but there is also these generic, like free-to-play uniforms that players can craft just by playing the game using in-game resources.
I hope you guys appreciate the animations of the robots next to the machines.
Yeah, the animations of the robots and the robot character, once captured, is
we have a certain 3D artist that had a lot of fun making those.
Yeah. Where's the cooking benches?
I was gonna go with like complete realism, like the robot would be doing something, and then Eddie, the 3D artist, gives me like an image, well, a video, right, with that he did for fun with one of these robots. I think it was the one that was spinning.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, all right, this is it. This is the game now.
This is how you assign the crafting robot, like the cooking robot, to cook something. He just like pushes a button. That's what he does. That is his life now. It's very much the Rick and Morty. What is my purpose? Your purpose is to pass the butter. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So all the robots follow kind of that theme. There are some more serious ones and some even more ridiculous ones. There's one of the robots that powers a machine by breakdancing, but a few silly options.
That's the one he showed me first. That's the one that.
Was that the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, at the beginning we were thinking that like maybe we should stick to like as realistic as possible, but at the end of the day, like this specific mechanic is more designed for the gameplay progression and like the fun elements. And this is great when it comes for like TikTok marketing and stuff like that, showing those kinds of funny videos. So it was one of those decisions that kind of fits more in line with the silly TikTok marketing and stuff like that, and a little bit of comic relief
over that belt that says +1 gains, +2 gains.
Really? Yeah, this video, this gameplay video is like a week or so old, but it gives you an idea. A lot of the new machines being added and their new functionality. This next update is a total overhaul to the entire crafting system. We're adding like 8 new machines, revamping a lot of other machines, obviously adding the capturing of all the robots, and the new items, new tiers of tools, like tiers of the mining pickaxes and shovels and stuff like that, as well as the component system. So the way crafting is kind of broken down now is what you guys have actually already seen in the MCC. Like we implemented it first there, where to craft, you have raw materials, which you process, and then those processed raw materials. Is he just poking the 3D printer with this?
Yeah, basically, yep. That's what's happening. And I mean, the animations there are not finished. Like the robot arm on the machine is going to be moving at some point.
Yeah. So they're saying like, so the first step is refining the resources. Then you can use those refined resources to make components, and then you use those components to make the final products, whatever they are. In the MCC, you can see that already with weapon crafting, but all crafting systems now follow along with that system. Oh, there's a nice little animation bug. But yeah. In addition to that, we have dramatically overhauled the robot combat systems, added in multiple tiers of hostile robots. The higher tier robots are in effect kind of like mini bosses. So they are larger, they have more damage and health, and they are like, especially the tier 3 robots will be very hard to take on your own. And there will be continued updates to the robot AI and those elements and their weapons. In this update, we're also introducing some melee robots. I believe the refiner doesn't have a gun. He has a pickaxe, and he just beats you to death with a pickaxe.
Yeah. Inspired by real things, right?
Wait, did you actually go and buy that?
Of course, man. Like, it's reference, right? I expensed this. I didn't just buy it. I fucking expensed this. By the way, for all of you, this is called the foo bar. You cannot go wrong with having a foo bar.
It is the most amazing multi-tool ever. I can't believe you actually bought that. I can believe. In fact, I can't believe I didn't assume that the moment you sent me the link to it, you had already ordered it.
Dude, this is like straight out of Mars. Like, I mean,
it is. It's awesome.
Look at it.
It is absolutely awesome.
It's
everything. It's like a hammer, a wrench, a crowbar. So, what else? We're also adding a whole bunch of quality of life upgrades that people asked for, such as waypoints, navigation system, like a compass navigation, the generic HUD. We'll also add in like to the HUD the wind force and direction, and a whole bunch of other small little quality of life stuff that people have been asking for. And what else? There's overhaul also coming to the land generation. This will be like, I think we've already put out 2 versions of the land generation, and we're working on the 3rd one now, which will also go live in this update, along with co-op. There was a question about that, actually, referring to how will we be dealing with like 100,000 lands, each land being a server, and obviously launching 100,000 servers is not like a viable long-term option. However, what we will be doing is, by owning the NFT, you have the ability to host the lands and only you exclusively, and so players will be able to host their own lands at any time whenever they want. And if they want, they can leave it hosted, etc. So that functionality, like that co-op land hosting functionality, will also be coming in this update. And then there will be some public lands, as mentioned before, that are just online all the time, that anyone can be joining and that have no restrictions. And then the player's own lands can set whatever restrictions they want to their lands, if friends only or invite only or etc. Whatever options they want there, they will have the freedom to do. There's so many things coming in. I think that covers most of it in terms of like just information dump of everything we're doing. The land you're seeing in this video is still like the demo land environment. It's not one of the player generated, or not one of the generated lands. And so what will happen as we move on, we'll use a land similar to this as the tutorial land. So when a player starts a new single player game, they will get this tutorial land along with the tutorial that teaches them how everything works, how all the mechanics of the game work. And then once they understand all those mechanics and have been onboarded through like kind of a story mode style tutorial, they can continue playing this just as an offline single player game, or they can go into one of their own lands and host that, or join the public land or join someone else's land. I think that covers.
Is it too arrogant of me to say that I still really like the Click Beetle?
Not at all. It's still one of my favorites. It is my such a cool design. Favorite.
It's super.
I really like the Terrapin as well. I do really like.
I really like the Shrike because it's a bike, but still,
obviously,
if you made me choose one vehicle to represent Mars4,
definitely Click Beetle, 100%. The funniest thing is like we knew it was that from the beginning, like from the very first painting from Anderzak, we're like, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that represents the game.
Anderzak?
Kind of, yeah, like first, like it looks nothing like the Click Beetle that then ended up creating. Yeah.
Oh shit! Okay, I remember. Right,
he painted some like Martian scene, like super high concept, super rough, and there was a vehicle in there.
That was the Carcanda.
No. Before that, there was. Wait, now let me.
Anyway, don't get sidetracked. I'll find it if I.
No, let's get sidetracked. I'm gonna find it. You entertain people, because it is actually it is kind of funny. It was one of the first images he did for us.
Dude, Anderzak is an amazing artist.
Dude, Anderzak's just crazy. You entertain people. Go.
I mean, I got nothing because I don't have anything prepared. Nick was preparing everything for this. I'm here to support, and now he's just throwing me the ball. So, hey guys, how are you? You want to ask any questions about art? I can answer them. If you ask me any technical questions, I have no idea. If you ask me about NFTs,
I've almost got it. Where is it?
Crypto.
Yes,
I'm just
here it is.
Foolish. You found it?
Here it is. I found it.
Okay.
I found it. How do I screen share?
Shrike is awesome. Yeah, Shrike's really good. I really like the tier 2 more than I like the tier 3, even though the tier 3 has more stuff in it. Like the tier 2 is like more the naked bike, whereas the tier 3 is more the super bike. So I'm into naked bikes.
I think there's also there's a big statement there just about your personal style, because you always never God like minimalist, you like streamlined. Like I didn't totally see that. I mean, I'm kind of the same. Minimalist. Like I would. No,
I like industrial. You're right.
And I would bet that the tier 3 version of all our vehicles is not your favorite in any one of them.
No, Click Beetle tier 3 for sure.
Yeah, but the Click Beetle we don't actually we don't go as over the top on the Click Beetle tier 3. I think.
Have you seen it up close?
No, that's true.
There's a lot of detail.
The wheel wells, yeah, there is actually a lot of it. No, you are right. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. No, that was, where? Okay, so here's this percent. Screen share. Screen share. Sure. All right, here we go. This was the original. Like, this is what was given to you to turn into a vehicle, and that's what the click beetle ended up as.
I forgot. Yeah, I saw this and I was like, I could make this into a beetle, like an actual beetle.
Like also,
yeah, you're
is
right.
it just me,
It's
or
not
do
my
you see
idea.
a hamster
You've
right
diminished me.
here?
A what?
Do you see a hamster right here? I see a hamster's face, like just right up against the glass.
Yep.
But what you did was very different than this. Like I think that the click beetle, what it turned into, is so much more iconic than this was.
Yeah,
but I still remember, like, this was one of Anderzak's first concepts, and that vehicle, we were like, oh, like, let's run with that. Mm-hmm. And that was the inception of the click beetle. Still, like, some of his original concepts are freaking awesome. Like, for sure, very, very hard to actually turn into anything, but still freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, pull up the Karkanda image. His second line, first image. That was the Karkanda.
Yeah.
That's where it come from. That's where that came from. I saw this and I was like, okay. No, and he has another one with the miners coming out of it.
Oh, there was this one, but I think that was later on, right?
Yeah. This was later on when we had sketches and shit, and I was like, okay.
And yeah, there was that. And then the Shire is just like
the Shire.
Like that, like, I think that was the only concept he ever produced that was just like no problems. Like, it was like just done, solved.
Yeah, I have a side view. I know what to do.
Yeah. No, that was an awesome one. There was a lot of there was some really, really cool stuff, and then a lot of stuff you just can't produce into anything. But there was a lot of cool stuff from him. Was this? I don't remember what that was going to be.
We were gonna do the train thing.
The train thing. We still need to do the train thing. I still love that idea.
Oh, sorry.
Dude, Anderzak is just such a.
What's amazing with Anderzak is how fast he comes out with these.
Mm-hmm.
He just goes.
Yeah, dude, just absolutely nuts. What was that quote in the meeting? We had a meeting together with them, and was it you asked him, like, what is your creative process or something? Like,
sacrifice goats and out comes out. Yep.
Yeah, no. And I think, were you the one who asked him, like, do you sacrifice goats in our trade? He said yes, like, I have a garage full of goats or something.
Yeah.
I forget what his response was. But the best part about that is, imagine, like, that was happening. Like, we asked a question, just he didn't speak English and we didn't speak Lithuanian. So we asked a question, and an intermediary translator translates the question into Lithuanian. Anderzak answers in Lithuanian, and then the translator says, yes, he has a garage full of goats. It was just, it was, oh my God, dude. Interacting with that guy was awesome.
Man.
Dude. Just such cool stuff. Such cool stuff. What's this?
Yep, that was the pavilion thing that we're doing in the early days.
Yeah. It was at the offices, like the Mars offices then, right?
Mm. But then technical difficulties with having things underground.
Oh, that was a pain in the ass.
Turns out it's really difficult to build something in the game and have it go underground if it's not pre-built.
Mm-hmm. The problem, like, digging on the surface adds so much technical complexity that, like, we can't have
digging on the surface and making it, like, work for a level is one thing. Having a player be able to choose a place and then dig a hole.
Yeah. Like, in isolation, you can do that. It's still not easy, but you can do it. But you can't generate, like, Mars terrain at runtime and allow people digging holes in ground. That was too much.
And then it's multiplayer, and then you have 50 people digging, 10 holes each. Goodbye, server.
I really do like the new uniforms. Like the new base uniform is like.
Do you have footage
so
of the
much
next
better.
tiers? Because
No, it looked like in this video, George, he built. He started with the first one, and then he went straight to like the NFT, the tier 2 Titan uniform, which is unfortunate because like the whoops.
well, at least it wasn't porn, man.
Oh, dude.
Like this should have been such a different conversation right now if that was porn.
It would have been far more entertaining for. Like, I guess that's like the most like depressing geeky thing ever, right? Like I accidentally show the thing I didn't want anyone to see, and it's fucking Matt Parker doing like math analysis of things. Like that's my deep dark secret.
Hey, Nito.
Oh, that's tragic. We also like redid all the meshes for the resources and stuff, as we have added a bunch of new resources in the game. We've added all of the resources that exist in the MCC are now mineable within the game, which is one of the final steps to being able to have people mining on their lands and uploading resources, etc. So let me jump into some of the questions. When will mining on servers be linked to the MCC? Sometime after the Epic release. Once we get released on Epic, then we will start adding that functionality. But at the moment, obviously, like there's a lot of security measures need to be completed before we can add that in. And also we need to be at version 1.0 still, because that's the way that we've been able to have the MCC be persistent while we're still developing the whole 3D game, is that we like don't upload stuff from the 3D game as the 3D game's still in development. Like people have found exploits already and stuff early on in development that we've had to solve. So like that's what this time is for, to do that. I have a friend that wants to mine on our land. How would that be possible in the future in a secure, safe way? As we mentioned earlier, if you own the land, you're able to set the rules of who is able to join. If you want it to be public, if you want to invite only specific people, that will be under your control. In the very first version of the when we go live on Epic, your lands you'll be able to password protect them. So in the very first initial version, you can just like only tell your friends what the password is, if you want to put a password on the land. Nick, have you played Helldivers 2 co-op mode? Is there a cool combat system against robots? Yes, I have. We are continuing to expand, as I've mentioned, the combat against the robots. I don't think we will ever reach, like, just being realistic, like the Helldivers 2 epicness and scale of combat, because there's lots of other mechanics within our game that we also have to be supporting. But we have already started integrating a lot of them. One thing you'll notice, we have integrated Helldivers style ragdolling of your character from explosions and when you're hit by robots and stuff like that. So we have actually already been taking a lot of cues from Helldivers 2 in terms of robot combat, and that's what we're working towards. But realistically, like, we don't expect to achieve everything that they achieved, because we have a lot of other content in our game and a lot of other elements to it. We can't dedicate as many resources as they did. What are the plan? Oh, sorry. What is the stage of the development now? What innovations are waiting for us in the near future? And when will we be ready to build an empire on our lands? A lot of those questions I answered already in the AMA, like just showing everything that's coming next. And the next main step for being able to build on your own lands with your friends is with this Epic launch, because then you'll be able to host your own lands and manage who connects to them, and you'll be able to build on your lands with your friends. And I think that that's one of the major things that people are waiting for. So that will be in the next Epic launch. The internal timeline for that, like unofficial, I mean, I guess it's kind of official and known. Like, I expect to have all the technical side and mechanics implemented for that by the end of this month. Then we'll decide, like, is it ready to launch at the end of this month, or do we want to polish it a bit more? Because once you go live on a platform like Epic, you get a fuckload of traffic, but you can't, like, you only get one shot at that amount of traffic. So it's really important that like that you're ready to go live when you go live. What are the plans for improving AI? As I mentioned, we already have done some improvements to the AI in terms of their aggro radiuses and also their weapons, giving some of them melee weapons and just general polishing of how they engage, especially when they're damaged, slowing down their engagement and firing rate so it's easier to capture them, as well as adding in the stun gun, which is used to incapacitate them when they're damaged so that you can capture them. And we will be continuing to kind of polish their interactions and stuff into the future. Once again, following kind of a bit of that theme of Helldivers 2. Obviously not at the same quantity. Like, we never want to have like Helldivers 2 levels of enemy units around you, just because that's way too intense for a server if you have like 100 people on it. And all of them wanting to fight AI and all of them fighting like 100 AI each, like that's just unmanageable. But yeah, I've already mentioned some of those improvements, and there will be more coming. When will the game appear on Epic Games? As I mentioned, that's something we're working towards end of this month. End of this month is when we'll have all the functionality done for it, and then we'll just review and see if there's anything else we want to polish before it goes live. Are you planning on participating in gaming exhibitions and forums? It's more of a marketing question, but yes, I know that we will be planning it, and that there are some different events that we wanted to join. As some of you know, I was at Gamescom.
Same.
Yeah, true. That was very fun. So
with Marcus.
Dude,
yeah, there's Marcus. Like, you speak of Marcus and Gamescom, he shows up. Yeah, we drank with this guy until we almost died.
Not just drank. You the hallway. Oh my god. That was so like 3 or 4 days after Gamescom, Spiros writes me, it's like, did I roll down the hallway like full what do you call it? Not Elder Scrolls, Dark Souls, like dodge rolling down a hallway? I'm like, yes, you did. Like, that's why my back hurts so much. At like 5 o'clock in the morning, just dodge rolling down a hallway in the Radisson Blu. Fun times. Gamescom is always fun. So yes, we will be doing conventions and more marketing events with forums, etc.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu makes you powerful. It's true.
Yes. Hello, Marcus. Friends we made along the way. Will we have an option to visit the entire planet, even if people are not actively playing, and allowing access to their lands? Potentially the majority of the planet will not playable due to those servers being offline, or simply investors not caring about the project anymore. That would make the red planet much smaller and much less interesting, which directly impacts gaming experience. I think this is a problem that we kind of cross that bridge when we come to it. If there are so many lands that are offline, maybe we would allow some method of players to like visit other areas in a protected way that the owners of the land like aren't at risk, even if the owner does want to hide or to be offline or to restrict access. But I think that's a problem that we'll address as it arises. Idea, how about implementing a land merge option that would allow for landowners to merge their adjacent lands into one? By doing so, 2 lands become one, I'm guessing. It's a nice idea. The problem is it really comes down to a performance issue. We want the lands to be as big and representative of actual scale as possible. If we allow people to merge their lands together, it starts making what we need to optimize a lot more extreme, and we'll have to give up on quality somewhere. So I would rather us stick to larger lands and being able to have as close to a full scale land as possible while while not joining lands together. Also, moving between lands, like the idea is that that's not very difficult. So I don't think it would really be worth the additional effort.
Yep. What you saw there was George just poked a stunned robot with his little USB
stick. BIOS reset stick. Back when we were kids, it was a wooden stick. Just fucking work. When will the free-to-play version be developed? This is also the free-to-play version. Like, as you guys know, as you guys know, like, you can play the game without owning NFTs, without needing to buy into anything. So this is also the free-to-play version, effectively. Just like any Web 2 game, the NFTs are just purchasable assets. Just the difference is players own those assets. Hi, as I understand it, Mars4 land plots are 50 square kilometers, around 7 by 7 kilometers. However, the corresponding area on actual Mars is 150 square kilometers, approximately 39 by 39. Is that correct? The demo, like the base map, not one of the generated land maps, like the tutorial land map, I think is 7 by 7, but the generated land maps are not that size. They're significantly bigger. I believe they're 20 by 20 kilometers. So half of full size. But yeah, the generated land maps are far larger than the tutorial land map. Consequently, I assume 50-kilometer wide crater on Mars would be around 10 kilometers wide. What about the elevation differences? Is it the same scaling ratio divided by around 5 applied? Yes, it is the same scaling ratio, but as I said, it's not divided by 5, it's divided by 2 on generated lands. But yes, we also scale the height. Unfortunately, though, that's one thing. Height data is far less accurate, like what we got from NASA. So it's possible if craters are small enough that it kind of gets lost in the noise. However, a 50-kilometer wide crater would be very visible on the lens. Like that doesn't fall into those realms. But the height data we have is only one height point every 500 meters, I think.
I think we have something like 128 pixels or something per land from NASA. So
yeah, it's very little data. We had to work. We had to but yeah, so but to answer the question, yes, the same scaling is applied for the altitude. Second part of the question. Also, in the long term, I find it very exciting for gamers to use Mars4 to explore Mars. Won't it be frustrating to navigate a scaled down version of Mars? Was the reduction in size chosen for better gaming experience? Is it definitive? Thanks for your answers and thoughts. Because we're only scaling it down by 2, I don't think the difference is too big of a deal. At the end of the day, like, a big crater is still a big crater. A big mountain is still a big mountain. And sense of scale in 3D games is kind of lost once you get like to that size. So I think like the reason we made the decision was because of just the data we have from NASA is quite low resolution. So by making the map bigger, we're not making it more detailed. We're just spreading stuff out more and making it less detailed in the area around you. So for it to look better and also for performance reasons, we kept it to, I think it's 20 by 20 kilometers is what we have right now. So half of full size. And that felt kind of like the sweet spot where the land still looked pretty good based on the data we have. We didn't have to make up too much stuff and worked well for performance and still felt big enough that it's not belittling the feeling. Like a big crater is still a big crater. As a big mountain, still a big mountain. And then, yeah, that's all the questions we had related to development from the previous, like from our Discord, and then I'll run through the chat. Harvey was saying that the strike is awesome. Yeah, the strike is definitely cool. I think I had to kind of put a production time limit on the strike because, correct me if I'm wrong, Spiros, but I think that you would have happily spent as much time as you had making that and designing that.
I mean, I would.
Yeah. But I was pleased. Like, we did get enough time in to do something really cool. It did turn out really nice. And it's super fun. I'm really pleased with how all the mechanics came out for the jet bike. It is very fun.
We need to make more of those.
Yeah, we do. Dirt bike is still on the list. Still on the list.
Bike. I keep telling you, man, we should have made the dirt bike before the strike.
We should have
figured out a reason. We need to make the dirt bike more fun than the strike, and that's an ask.
Yeah, that's not going to be easy to do at all. The reason we did the strike first, though, is just like dirt bike suspension would have been a pain in the ass.
I mean, it was high time we gave the players something to be able to really freely move around with.
Yeah.
And the strike just does just that. You just go across the map.
It was a lot
Super
of fun.
fast.
Someone says, hey guys, I saw the machine for cooking food. What about introducing the needs for food and water? Yes, I forgot. That's actually something that's also coming in the next patch. However, we're not going to be introducing food and water as if you run out, you die. But instead, there will be a hungry and a thirsty and a starving state, which just apply debuffs. And then like a well-fed and well-hydrated state that apply buffs. So you never need to worry about dying through, here's some footage of the new map generations. Still not done and a few months old, but here is definitely more interest in looking map generations with a lot more elevation and stuff. But yeah, I was saying, so food and water and those needs won't be the kind of things like if you don't manage it, you die. It's just they all will be a series of buffs if you do manage them. So if you are producing food and water and feeding your character, then like you'll be getting a bunch of buffs from that in terms of like health regen and other elements like that, stamina, carry capacity, etc. The reason for that decision that is different from like the very first version that we put out is just because we felt that if you need to manage water and food, and if you don't, you die, it becomes really tedious. So this way, like if you don't care, you can ignore it. Early game, it doesn't really matter that much. But once you get your production up and running, then yeah, it can be really valuable to make sure that you have food and water supplies for your character, as well as medicine, stuff like that. The food crafting bench also crafts like all biological stuff. So you also have medicines in there and haven't added drugs yet, but maybe we should.
It's also the difficulty of like the game is still in development, right? Nothing is final, like with oxygen and water mechanics, and there's still other issues that you run into that may put you in a kind of difficult situation where, due to some bug or something else, like because again, early game, like we don't want to just put you in a situation where you're completely screwed because you cannot have water for whatever reason. Later on, though, when everything's sorted, we may go back to like super realism, or at least that's how I imagine it. Nick makes those decisions. I just talk shit.
It's always a challenge, like balancing the realism and the fun elements. So that it's a hard line to try and balance on. But yeah. Also, someone asked, Fuzzy asked, what are your plans for professions, more building options? Also, you mentioned co-op. As for co-op missions, what stuff is in the plan? Also, road systems, nothing until now. So for professions and more building options, yes. In fact, in this patch, we're also adding spiral staircases, and we've changed the way that ramps work. So now you can apply ramps to like where you build walls as well. So you can build like multi-story straight ramp. And I believe we added something else to the building system. I don't remember what it is right now. And we're still expanding the profession systems and skills that we have in the game right now. Those, what you see on the left here of the UI, like the different abilities and stuff that you can unlock. At the moment, we're focused just on getting this next epic release, and then we'll build more into professions after that. But the idea is really we don't want to limit players too much into like selecting a specific profession, but more a series of upgrades and unlocks and equipment that like focus you into different areas. And that there's already been more expansions in now with this build in terms of multiple tiers of mining equipment and weapons and stuff like that, helping once again like to give players specialization options. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Do you have anything you would like to add? Does anyone have any other questions? Take that as a no, Spiros.
I'm just reading through the comments looking for
conversational. Oh man. But yeah,
stairs. Yeah, the stairs are cool.
Yeah, the stairs are cool, and that's a nice addition. The ramp change, which I forget, it's one of the community requests. I think that's actually really cool as well. It allows people to build like proper jumps and stuff for vehicles. So there's a lot more you can do there.
Forgot that one.
Someone else, will there be aircraft or drones that we will be able to sightsee lands that we don't own? We do. There is a drone that we have in production. Paused production on the moment, but we'll get back to it. That people can use to build stuff. So like you can build kind of from a third-person drone instead of from your character, which is also part of the specialization for builders, to answer Fuzzy's question a bit more. However, sightseeing on other people's lands, that is, as we brought up before, like question we'll kind of get to, like maybe we'll introduce a way to sightsee on lands that you can't, that people have locked, so you can still like look around and see what they look like. However, that's kind of a bridge we'll cross when we get to it. Aircraft as well is something we would like to add, but it hasn't been too big of a priority. And balancing aircraft is very hard because the faster vehicle you give a user, especially aircraft, it makes the whole map a lot smaller. Mm-hmm. So I'm hesitant to add anything that's too fast, like an aircraft, because that can kind of ruin a bit the feeling of vastness on the lands. However, maybe something like a helicopter can maybe work. So then you're not moving too quickly.
I mean, the Shrike flies. Just saying. Just saying. Southern airplane doesn't have wings. It goes pretty fast though.
But it flies. I think the Shrike can actually like exit the atmosphere. I think you can crash into like the 10-kilometer height limit with the Shrike.
You know what will suck is that we will probably eventually need to tweak those parameters so it doesn't do all that.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoy it while it lasts. But yeah, on the visiting other people's lands when they don't want people in, like my stance on this, and you know, I don't make the decision. This guy does right there, is it's like real life, right? I know it sucks that you're not able to explore the entirety of Mars, but like in real life, some, you know, rich dude owns all this like forest. You can't go in there, or maybe you can, and like if he finds you, get shot. But it's kind of harder to implement something like that in a game like this.
Yeah, I think that I would rather incentivize landowners to have their lands be open than
that exactly
like give a way to circumvent people not wanting people to visit their land.
Or, you know, we can make the red planet, and it's not your land, it's our land.
Our land. Our communal land. Is that the sequel to Iron Skies?
I don't know, dude. It's called the Red Planet. Come on.
Yeah. Max asked when's the approximate date for the patch. We haven't set an exact date, but it should be exiting QA around the end of this month. And then when exactly it goes, so in about 2 weeks. When exactly it goes live will be sometime after that. But yeah, it should be exiting QA around the end of this month. And we'll probably have a QA build that we'll share with the community so the community can be playing around and testing it out before it goes live. Maybe next week or the week after. We will see. Plans. Max asking about non-NFT equipment that can be created through gameplay. Yeah, like we've already introduced some different uniforms, different spacesuits with different parameters and stats that people can craft within the game. And that's like non-NFT equipment. That's just using the resources that you mine within the game. Very similar to how the weapons are crafted via the Titan Mark II robots on the MCC. Like you can do the same thing in game. The only limitation there is the unique weapons that the Titans can craft. But the other ones, the generic weapons, anyone can craft. Okay, and I think that brings us to an end of the AMA. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And I'll see you guys on Discord.
Well, it's been fun.
It has. Thank you so much, guys. And see you later. Have a good evening or morning or wherever you are. The sun never sets on Mars.